Yeah, let's start with our first guest. So I'm really happy to have John here with me. So John is originally from the US, and you're currently living in Portugal. And yeah, he arrived here, I think, on Monday. Yeah, perfect. It's the first time that we see us in real life over the last 2 years. Over the last 2 years, we have had many calls via Teams. Of course, 2023 it makes this possible, but it's good to see us in person, that we can dig a little bit deeper how we want to proceed with further CRM systems and so on. So, John, yeah, please introduce yourself. And
hi, everybody. I just thought it would be good to start out, just giving you a little bit of background information on me, because you have no idea who I am, this crazy-looking dude. So my background is in marketing and in digital systems architecture, really. So I've been doing this in the industrial space for over 30 years for a variety of different types of industrial companies, over 100 different companies. And one of my company, Bridger.io, specializes in integration. So it's a integration platform for interconnecting different types of software. So that's just a real quick overview of who I am, and now we can talk about who Felix is.
Yeah, so that's me. I'm not even 30 years old, so I can't come up with the experience. But what I did is studying, and I did my master's in business information systems, so I heard a lot of the theoretical stuff of CRM systems during my studies. I'm working for the CADENAS GmbH since 2.5 years now. Started as business strategy manager. One of my first projects was to have a look into the topic. Is it possible how we could manage to transform the leads of our component manufacturers into their CRM system? Meanwhile, I'm the director of marketing and business development, so also the topic lead management is important for me, now also for our company. And so I would describe myself also as a CRM power user, because I must deal with it every day. So I would say that I know what our component manufacturers want to have, respecting about the lead quality, as well as how easy it is to transform the leads into the CRM system, follow up with flows that just in time the correct sales guy has the lead, can follow up it and close the deals, makes more revenue. So, John.
Yeah, I thought it would be just good to tell you a little about the company itself, because you probably don't know anything about it. But I've been building integrations for a variety of different industrial and systems. So you can see at the top, these are just some of the systems that I'm working with, but CADENAS is up there. There's ERP systems like Tribute and Epicor. Also, you've got CRM systems like HubSpot and Salesforce. And I don't know how familiar you are with the American market, but also major distribution companies like Applied Industrial Technologies and Motion Industries. These are companies that I'm doing integrations with every day. I have literally millions of dollars of revenue flowing through my systems between these distribution partners and different customers, industrial manufacturers on these ERP systems. So CADENAS came to me and said, hey, we have this problem, and we would like to find a solution for integrating the data from CADENAS into different CRM systems. And I said, okay, this should be something that's right in my wheelhouse. So that just let you know a little bit about the types of industry people who I'm working with. I really try to focus on industrial businesses.
Yeah, thank you. All right. I thought maybe it makes sense that we start very basic. Why should your CADENAS leads be in the CRM system or belong inside it? In this minute, where I stay here in Augsburg, on 3D Find It alone, on our search engine, there are above 1,000 downloads, and happens every minute 24/7. In addition to that, we have your company portals, the supplier portals. And in addition to that, we also have the CAD integrations, CAD plugins that also produce downloads. And in your download statistic, of course, you can see where a download happens and so on. So we can summarize it. Your products can be downloaded 24/7. This is very important. The products are not downloaded for fun. This is the big difference. Compare it with a configurator for cars, for example, BMW. When I was 16, I configured like every day. It was one of my hobbies. The BMW M5, M3, and did it just for fun. If someone configures a part of you, then it happens because he needs it for his business, for his work. So the download implies interest of the downloader. And follow up by that, most of the downloaders are in the context of B2B. Of course, there are some students. Of course, there are some guys that download it because they need it for their hobby or something like that. But almost exclusively, it's B2B. As well as that, our accounts on 3Defined as well as on the part community are B2B accounts. So you get the B2B business, their business address. And I would say that leads to an output, and if the data is filled out, we have a complete set of data, then we have here marketing qualified leads. So how to get the lead information? We have different possibilities how you can have the insight of your catalog performing. We have the CADENAS dashboard statistics, web application, can enter it, have a look into it, but it's separated, and yeah, of course you get all the important information, but it's manual work. What can be partially automated is our CSV export. Of course, you can export the data, select a set, a week, a day, a month, export it and transform it manually, filter it, for example, and then bring it into your CRM system. But again, it's not very time efficient, and of course, as soon as you do something manually, there's the possibility of mistakes. There's an important lead that you missed, for example. There's someone ill or leaving sick, and there are 3 weeks where no download gets transferred, for example. So CADENAS CRM Connector is like our flagship. It's with Bridger.io as a middleware. We have an out-of-the-box solution that can be also customized. And one of the more important questions here today is the data worth the work? And if we have a look into our data set, and I highlighted the ones where I thought these are especially important. We have, of the downloader, we have last name, we have the country, the origin country, we have the order number, so which part did he download it. We have server detail, that's important, that you can track where did the download happen. Was it a CAD plugin, or was it your supplier portal, was it on your website, or was it on 3Defined or one of our other vertical marketplaces. Email, of course you want to contact him, you need an email, as well as phone, if phone number is a required field. Oh, actually I missed that one of the most important ones, phone number. State, country, as well as the CAD system, so you know probably in which CAD system he's working. So that leads us there, we know him. If he's our target persona or buyer persona, is him. And as we already heard in some expert talks yesterday, roughly around 82% of downloads that are made are in the end purchased. So what is the next step? There are two possibilities. Smooth way, call him, can question about the reason for the download. You can ask him if he needs more components, do the typical upsell or cross-sell if he has some other projects going on, or if he needs any help doing the order. With the softer way is a simple follow-up by mail. So send more information about the product, like a spreadsheet or technical information about it, and see if he has more questions. And yeah, the ball is now at him that he rings you up. So benefits, I think some of them are already clear for you. Important is we are 100% GDPR compliant. John will mention later why we are GDPR compliant and why it is a little bit the rough way, starting in the USA, developing a product, and after that bring it to the EU. I think that we all had somewhere in our business the problem with our European GDPR. Yeah, so you gain better insight into the prospects and the customers engage with your CAD content, because of course the connection is not just for one day, but it's ongoing, it's running. So you can track how's your prospect behaving. Does he download more or less existing customer? Is there more interest in your products? Less? Do I have to call him why there's a decreasing number of downloads and so on? Yeah, never worry about the data entry, exporting, importing, missed leads, and of course, therefore, an increased efficiency and save time. So my conclusion is we want the data in our CRM system. And now John will tell us which systems are already supported and how it's done.
That was an excellent overview, Felix. It's almost like he built the system, but he didn't. But he's been doing a lot of studying, so that's excellent. So right now, the system works best with HubSpot and Salesforce. For quarter 3 of this year, we've targeted Microsoft Dynamics to be released. And you can see there the versions that it works with. With HubSpot, it works with pretty much any version, even the free version. With Salesforce, it requires professional, enterprise, or unlimited. If you have a lower version, you can actually add the API as a separate add-on, but it requires a version that has the API access component. And as I said, Microsoft 365 coming soon. So, top level view, what does the integration do? What does the Bridger.io CRM connector do? It just basically moves your CAD statistics into your CRM platform automatically and seamlessly for you. And here's kind of a quick overview of how it works. You have the user data, which is the actions that the user is performing on the CADENAS portals in any of the portals. That data goes into the CADENAS database. That data then is pulled out of the CADENAS database by the blue layer, which represents the Bridger.io integration layer. In that layer, a number of things happens. Actually, back up a layer. On the CADENAS layer, you have some filtering capabilities built in through the built-in template, the ability to find templates for how we pull the data out. So you can filter, for instance, geographies, catalogs, if you only want to see data from a specific catalog, you want to leave out data coming from Russia, whatever the case may be, you can filter on the CADENAS side. Then on the Bridger side, there's additional filtering, so you can filter out email addresses, email domains, top-level domains. So if you say, I don't want any gmail.com activity, it can block out all of that activity automatically for you. So the combination of those two filters gives you really a lot of control over the data that's coming into your CRM. So if you depending on how open your CAD downloads are to the world, you might have people downloading them who you're not really interested in. So we can really try our best to filter out and give you only the ones that meet your criteria. Then on top of that, the system does a duplicate reduction. So it makes sure that it's not getting double data from CADENAS. It also duplicate checks against your CRM system. I'll talk about the specific CRMs in a little bit, in a couple more slides. And then that information gets pumped into your system. So you can play the little animation if you want. This is a quick little animation. Data goes into the CADENAS database, comes across into Bridger, cleaned, then sent into your CRM. Pretty straightforward. All right, so what does this get you? Having that data put in there. You can view all the activity right in your CRM. So there's a lot of data that's in the CADENAS portal, but I'm told a lot of people don't want to go and log into the CADENAS portal to see that data, to see their reports, to download these data. This allows you to see that data straight in your CRM alongside all the other data, all the other lead sources. So in HubSpot, which we'll look at in a minute, it shows up as a lead source, just like any other lead source that's coming in. So it's not like you have to look here and then we have to go into CADENAS to see the CADENAS information. So you see all that activity directly in your CRM. The system updates it every hour. So it's nearly instant. If somebody does something on the CADENAS portal, that lead comes into your system, or that activity comes into your system within an hour. That actually gives you an awesome opportunity for marketing automation, or just human follow-up. If people are paying attention, you can act on that lead very quickly as you want to. In HubSpot, a new contact comes in as a conversion. So I don't know if you're HubSpot people, but that means it shows up as a new conversion. It's not just a lead that's in there. You can see that that lead came from CADENAS as a conversion. And in Salesforce, it comes in as a lead. And if a contact already exists in your CRM, it doesn't recreate it. So this is that part of the duplicate checking. It checks within itself for duplicates, but then it also checks your CRM. So whenever it puts a piece of data in there, it says, does this contact already exist? If so, I just append the data to that contact. If they don't exist, then I put them in as a new lead. So it's not going to change any of your existing contacts. It's smart enough to find them and add the data to them. Again, you can blacklist email addresses and domains. We can do a lot of customizations. So there's kind of the default way it works out of the box, but it supports a lot of customization. So not just custom properties, but kind of any kind of customization you might want to have. For instance, one that's in the works right now is Salesforce custom objects. So instead of bringing the data in as an activity, we generate a custom object for CAD downloads and attach that to your contact. There's a lot of ways we could tweak it, because a lot of you guys have, made specific customizations to your Salesforce or HubSpot or Dynamics, and you want it to work the way you want it to work. We have no trouble making it work how you want it. And then once all that data is in there, of course, you can mine that data out and get excellent business intelligence. You can make it super easy to make reports and dashboards out of this. You can see how your CAD system is performing, how it performs compared to your other lead sources. You could look at those leads and their activity and filter them by catalog or by part and say, this guy's interested in these kind of parts, or he's from this geography, so he belongs to this salesperson. There's a lot of automation you could do behind the scenes. You have to do that yourself, but the data is in there for you to do it with.
All right, now one of the most important things, security and GDPR.
Yeah, so as Felix had said, when we originally built this, it was the US team actually approached me to build this integration, and we had done several integrations actually before we started getting the interest of the mothership in Germany. So upon talking to these guys, it became clear that the GDPR compliance was a major issue, obviously, for the European market and especially the German market. So in order to meet the GDPR needs, I actually moved the business to the EU. So I closed the US business, started in a version of it in Ireland, so that it's EU based. And then the data center itself is in Frankfurt. So technically, for German customers, the data doesn't ever leave Germany until it goes to your CRM system. So you have a GDPR compliance system, and then all these other levels of security, which I won't really drill into in great detail, but they're pretty much industry standard security levels: OAuth, authentication, encryption of all the transmission of data, and then the database is encrypted, and then the data is encrypted before it's put into the database. So there's multiple levels of security in there.
And maybe in addition to that, to clarify it, John will later explain how the setup is done, but the data of the contacts that already exist in your CRM system will never be pulled out out of your CRM system into the middleware. It's like more or less like a ping into your CRM system. Does the contact already exist? So it's not bi-directional, it's just in one direction that we push the data in from the middleware.
So going back to one of Felix's first slides, what kind of data are we talking about? This is a literal example, which has been anonymized somewhat, but a literal example of the type of data coming out of CADENAS. You may have seen this data already if you're using their portal, but it gives you an idea. You can see when they downloaded, and all the data when it comes across is tagged with the time that the download actually happened. So when you see it in your CRM, that's the time they actually downloaded it. And then supplier number, server information, which tells you what catalog they were using, where that person was interacting with the CAD when they got the model. Of course, all their contact information and any of this other business information that CADENAS appends in there, like industrial sector and things like that. All that data is going to come across into your system. So just going to real briefly look at what the connector looks like, or what the data looks like inside your CRM. So the connector itself, there's nothing really to look at. The data is moving behind the scenes transparently. But this is an example of how you could surface that data in HubSpot. So up at the top, I have a real easy little report that shows how many leads are coming in from CADENAS per day. Here's a actually created lead, and you can see in here the download activity. Shows up in there, it tells you what they downloaded. If you expand that, it gives you all that additional catalog information. And then here's just another example of a dashboard. So off of this data, you really easily create a dashboard that shows you, here's new leads, here's new activities coming into the system. And this is the same thing, but in Salesforce. So in Salesforce, you have two databases, one for leads, one for contacts. It checks both. If it's not existing, it'll create a new lead. And here you see, this is a lead, this is a contact. They're very similar. The activity appears in a slightly different place for each one, but it's similar to what you saw in the HubSpot. If you expand that little triangle, it'll tell you all the details about what server that person was on. You can still, though, get within there in a report and pull that data out. And then there's a simple report or dashboard on the Salesforce side. So how easy is it to connect? How much work is it? This is always a question we receive. Is it going to take the IT team or whatever to install this? It doesn't. It literally just takes a Salesforce admin or a HubSpot admin, 3 steps to connect this, and it can be done in about 5 minutes. So I give them a password. They log into Bridger.io. They come to a page like this, except it won't say HubSpot connected. It'll say connect. They click that button. It bounces them over to HubSpot, where they say accept this connection, and boom, the connection is integrated. On the Bridger.io site, I also do provide reporting. So if you don't want to go through the hassle of creating reporting, there is some minimal reporting there for you to see when you want, but literally the setup is like minutes, and it doesn't take any effort from IT. And because it's OAuth, that means you have the control over the connection. So if you wanted to stop it, you can turn it off, you can turn it on, you have control.
Excellent. So last thing for today is how you get started. So John has a little booth right next to the kitchen. So if you're interested into the CRM connector or you want to have more information about it, feel free to ask John, of course, as well as me directly. Otherwise, you can write me, of course, an email or your key accounter in email if you're interested. We can do a follow-up call, maybe 30 minutes, dig a little bit deeper. You bring your CRM guys within the call. And yeah, next about the setup. Before we actually do the connection, we do a little workshop, around 2 or maybe 4 hours, depending on how deep you want to dig into the possibilities. And yeah, we do that online together with John. After that, John will push a set of data into your CRM system, probably yesterday or something like that, that you have a set of data where you can check if everything works correct, that the filters are correct, is the data that you want to have in your CRM system. After that, John pushes a whole week into it, you can check again, and then the setup is ready, and we click on the button, and then it's running 24/7. Yeah, that was the last slide of today. Thank you very much for paying attention to our expert talk. I hope that you like our CADENAS connector. And John, thank you very much also for working together. I enjoy it a lot. And I think that's one of the best partnerships that I had in the last year. So thank you very much, John.
Good, yeah, glad to do it. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much. Oh.
Hello.
Thank you very much for this wonderful presentation. It was really great. I also wanted to present you with this little gift. I hope you'll have use for it, but I'm pretty sure of it. You can test it in your hotel room.
He's traveling a lot, so I think it's useful.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys.
It's an international
Glad to be here.
charging adapter. Also,